obtained the incomparable jewel of worshipping Sri Radha Krishna in the forest of Gokul. So there is a wonderful picture is there. Raghunath Das Goswami write Manaha Siksha at the bank of Radha Kund. So wonderful swans are swimming in the Radha Kund. Some trees, and on the background you can see the Govardhan Hill. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Bhajan Darpan commentary. Sayutha, with your own group, one should remain with Vaishnavas who are similarly disposed, dignified, and more advanced than oneself. Sri Lalita and other Sakhis, female friends, are independent leaders of their own groups and yet remains subservient to Srimati Radharani. Similarly, the Uttama Bhagavat Vaishnava or the first class pure devotees remain a follower of Sri Rupa Goswami, even though such a person may be the spiritual master of many disciples. Srila Rupa Goswami elaborate on this point in Sri Ujjvala Nilamani, Hari Priya Prakarna 3.61 as follows. Even though Lalita and similar gopis are qualified to lead their own separate groups, they choose to remain a Radha Sakhis due to their intense desire to ensure Radha's pleasure in the groups. Sri Rupanuga, a follower in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami, one should follow the instructions regarding bhajan that Rupa Goswami received from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, based on which he performed his own bhajan. Gokul Vane, in the forest of Gokul. Being in the forest of Gokul means to be at any secluded place within the Mathura Mandal. Srila Rupa Goswami described the glories of Mathura Mandal in his Mathura Stav in the Stav Mala. Next picture is a beautiful picture. Rupa Goswami received instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's sitting at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A beautiful garland has been given to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Beautiful temple and lotus flowers in the back with some wonderful Kadamba tree also. And in the next page, follow the instructions that Rupa Goswami received from Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Goswami is writing all these notes, which gives us that we should also keep some notes because our memory is so weak. Beautiful kamandal in the front, peacocks are dancing, beautiful trees, and the parrots are sitting on the branch of a tree. Sri Mathura is expert in distributing liberation in the form of devotion to Govinda. She is full of eternity, knowledge and bliss. In Mathura, two illuminating types of knowledge arise naturally. The knowledge to deliver the self from birth and death, Taraka, and the knowledge which helps one cross over the material world, Puraka, Paraka. She is a mine of the jewel of the birth pastimes, of the crushed jewel of the world, Krishna. May that Mathura, more glorious even than Vaikuntha, unfold a host of auspicious blessings for everyone. This is the glorification of Mathura. Mathura's effulgence is greater than a million moons. She cannot be influenced by the swift attacks of the three, four material miseries. The enchanting glories of residing in Mathura can easily trouble the enchantment of even the most powerful demigods. In other words, the mystic power cannot stay here. The herd of the great sages, Sukadev, etc., are attracted to Mathura and they directly witness all the pastimes of Krishna here. She can fulfill all desire of her worshippers. Great personalities like Lord Kasiswara, Shiva, and Lord Brahma always pray to be her guardians. May that Mathura, more glorious even than Vaikuntha, bestow you with devotional love for Krishna. Lord Ram's six-syllable mantra, Ram Ramaya Namaha, known as the Taraka mantra, is the seed of the tree of liberation and delivers one from all anarthas. Krishna's 18-syllable mantra, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. This is one of the Gayatri mantra that the Brahman chant 7 Gayatri mantra. This is also the part of it, known as the Paraka mantra. Bestow the loving spiritual abode and fulfill all spiritual desires. I remember that my son-in-law's mother, Narmada Mataji, when she was suffering with the breast cancer, Tamal Krishna Maharaj wrote the letter and I had the copy that he recommended her to chant this Gayatri mantra more and more. It can help us to revive our relationship with Krishna. So this is a wonderful. The Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabha Swaha. Unless we get the instruction, we should not take up those things on our own. Haribo. However, for the residents of this Mathura, these two phenomena of Taraka and Paraka, deliverance from anarthas and attainment of all spiritual desires, occur naturally. May that Mathura destroy your faults and bestow good fortune to all of you. O Avanti, Ujjain Dhama, hold the spittoon for collecting betel nut in your hands. O Kanchi, Kanchipuram Dham, hold the umbrella. O Kasi, stand in front holding sandals. O Ayodhya, do not fear your mistress. O Dwarka, please stop reciting her glories. Just say, this queen of Lord Krishna, Mathura, is finally showering benedictory glances on all you maidservants. In his Vrindavanastakam, in the Stavamala, Rupa Goswami beautifully explains the glories of Vrindavan. On hearing the sound of Mukunda's flute, the creeper of the gopis' hearts blossomed, and they entered each and every kunj within the Kadamba forest of Vrindavan. Yamuna, the daughter of the Kalinda mountain, flows here. Lotus flowers in the Yamuna move around due to fragrant winds. May that Vrindavan forest be my shelter. And in the next page, there is a beautiful picture following the wishes of Radhika, the daughter of Nanda's friend Vrushbhanu. Her Sakhis manifest a festival of joy for the moving and non-moving living entities. A beautiful picture of Vrushbhanu and Nanda Baba, and also Srimati Radharani is carrying a lotus flower. So I think there is a glories of Vrindavan. I think we should read, but many of them are there, so maybe at some point we should stop. The shelter of Vrindavan supersedes the shelter of liberation provided in Vaikuntha by 1,000 times. For the shelter of Vrindavan provides the ultimate good fortune of the various types of bhakti rasa, such as dasya, shakya, vatsalya, and madhurya. The desire to take birth here as an insignificant blade of grass is expressed even by the excellent four mouths of Lord Brahma, the spiritual master of the entire world. May that Vrindavan forest be my shelter. Vrindavan's fully blossoming creeper filled forest spread about an excellent fragrance that amazes even the goddess of fortune. The forest is full of wonderful groups of nectar-dripping, flower-laden trees, which cause the host of bees to always offer praise to her. May that Vrindavan forest be my shelter. Her blades of grass, leaves, and sprouts are luxuriant and are decorated with mark from the spot of the nail tip of the super excellent feet of the lightning and cloud of Radha and Krishna. Their feet carry host of beautiful marks such as lightning and lotus. May that Vrindavan forest be my shelter. In Vrindavan, the Sakhis of Radhika, the daughter of Nanda's friend Vrushbhanu, manifest a festival of joy for the moving and non-moving living entities by her orders. Vrindavan is replete with host of expert Rasika animals who are attracted to the sound of the flute of Krishna. The younger brother of Balram, Pralambha's enemy, may that Vrindavan forest be my shelter. So still some glorification of Vrindavan Dhan is given. We'll continue reading tomorrow. We should also dwell in the life of Srila Prabhupada. We are reading from the volume number 5, chapter 2, titled No One Listens to a Poor Man. So we will read that paragraph, 6-7 lines before we continue. The monkeys, however, continued to raid the kitchen. Again, the cooks complained to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhupada says, if you want to stop the monkeys, then this is what you must do. purchase one bow and arrow, and shoot a monkey on the top of a tree with the arrow. And then, when he falls down, take the monkey and hang him upside down by the legs to a branch of a tree. Next to him, you also hang the bow and arrow. This will teach them a lesson. That's where we stop. So we now continue. Prabhupada knew that shooting monkey was illegal in Jaipur, and he did not expect his disciples to actually shoot them. But he delivered the advice with a serious expression. Indirectly, he was advising them not to be so upset over a few monkeys. Prabhupada and his disciple immediately joined in the intense devotional atmosphere of Jaipur. Since the Radha Govind temple was under the jurisdictions of the Jaipur's royal family, to visit the deity daily was practically required for all citizens. Morning and evening crowds of enthusiastic worshippers would come and go, worshipping the form of Radha and Krishna on the altar. And it says that all the residents of Jaipur, they always take a darshan every single day. Some in the morning, some maybe in the evening. These were Rupa Goswami's original Radha Govinda deity from Vrindavan, almost 500 years ago, when a Mughal ruler had attacked the Govindji temple in Vrindavan, which was 7-story high. Now you can see only 3 or 4 story, I think. The king of the Jaipur had arranged for the deities to come to Jaipur, and the worshippers at the Radha Govinda Mandir displayed spontaneous excitement in seeing the deities. They would come forward crying, Jayo, Jayo, Govinda, Govinda. And when the curtains were closing, the people would rush forward to catch a last glimpse of the divine forms. Srila Prabhupada avoided the large crowd before the deity, keeping to his schedule of rising early and translating Bhagavatam. Speaking with Kaushalya and Srimati, Prabhupada praised them for having arranged the Jaipur Pandal program. Quote, you girls are carrying on Lord Chaitanya's movement so nicely, unquote, he said. Just see, even without husbands, you go on preaching. He said that the Western women were different from Indian women who simply stayed at home. Then Prabhupada discovered that his 2 women disciples had not actually done a thorough job. Although the Pandal program was so big in 2 days, no one had arranged for the large tent to be erected. Prabhupada said it was not a woman's nature to do such organizational work. The woman became morose to hear him. When they showed him the flyer they had printed advertising and festival, Prabhupada became angry. It is not standard, he said. It did not say International Society for Krishna Consciousness, but only A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami and his foreign disciples. What is this? Prabhupada shouted. What's Srila Prabhupada? Kausalya asked. Foreign. Why do you say foreign? It must be American and European. That's what is attractive. That they are American and European, but you are just a woman. What can I expect? the two women began to cry and left the room. With Shyamsundar's help, Kausalya and Srimati had new corrected flower printed and returned to tell Srila Prabhupada. But now his mood has changed completely. His anger was gone. He was soft. After all, these disciples had tried their best. In the disarming disclosure, he began to explain that to be spiritual master was difficult. Quote, I chastise you, he said, because it is my duty. Disciple is related to discipline, so it is my duty to my disciples. Otherwise, I'm not upset with anyone. I simply do this to discipline you because you are my disciples. He consoled them, saying they were sincere and lacked expertise because of poor upbringing. The devotees present felt Srila Prabhupada was wonderfully expressing to them a bit of what he, as spiritual master, felt in training them. In a great last-minute endeavor, the devotees obtained the pandal and erected it in time from Prabhupada to begin his program as advertised. On opening day, the devotees held a parade through the streets, with Prabhupada riding in a palanquin, a large embroidered umbrella sheltering his head. Also in the procession were decorated elephants, brass bands, and devotees, Indian, American, and European, performing kirtan. Srila Prabhupada's first program was in the morning after the darshan of Govindji, so as to catch the huge morning crowd. People would come hurrying into the temple to see Radha Govindji and then proceed out into the large Hare Krishna pandal beside the temple. On the opening morning, Prabhupada performed an Abhishek ceremony, bathing marble deities of Radha and Krishna. He named these deities soon to be shipped to the ISKCON temple in New York, Radha Govinda. After one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples had performed a fire sacrifices, Prabhupada lectured to the crowd in Hindi. The schedule for the remaining days would be morning and evening lecture, kirtan, and prasadam distribution. So, new event. While preaching in Jaipur, Srila Prabhupada was simultaneously reflecting on and through letter to his disciple, acting on matters in many other parts of the world. Although he participated fully, giving 2 lectures a day, and although he constantly met and interacted with guests, friends, and devotees, he was also absorbed in thoughts of other places and concerns. He was conducting his movement on many fronts. Wherever he happened to be at present was his camp, just as a general makes camp in various places while conducting many battles in the overall effort of a war. His preaching in Jaipur, therefore, was only a small fraction of the scope of his worldwide mission. From Jaipur, Prabhupada wrote his disciple in Calcutta, urging them in the development of the Mayapur land. He wanted a grand opening ceremony by Lord Chaitanya's birthday in March. Unfortunately, the government was restricting foreigners from entering Nadia because of its proximity to Bangladesh. Quote, please try very hard to get those permits, Prabhupada urged his men in Calcutta. As we must be all assembled there for Lord Chaitanya's appearance day. Repeatedly, Prabhupada mentioned his concern over the government's restricting his men. In his own word, he expressed, I do not think there will be difficulty if we just go there, like the ordinary pilgrims, and set up our camp there for Kirtan continuously. Anyone will see we are only serious devotees of Lord Chaitanya and not Pakistani spies. Prabhupada wrote ahead to his disciple in Nairobi, driving them onward with his blessings. Continue to work very hard for his pleasure, and all of you will get back to home, back to Godhead. To the San Diego Temple President, Srila Prabhupada wrote, I'm very pleased to hear from you that book sales are increasing very fast. I'm hearing such good news from all over the society, and pleases me more than anything. And Prabhupada was often thinking of the land in Bombay. Sometime he talked about it or mentioned it in a letter to his representative there. The Bombay land purchase was still not finalized, and Prabhupada was particularly anxious that his disciple pay the money as agreed and move immediately onto the land. This is the next. Tamal Krishna was Srila Prabhupada's governing body commission secretary for India. Some of the devotees said that actually Prabhupada was the GBC secretary for India. Although he allowed his secretaries in other parts of the world to manage mostly on their own and to make their own decisions. In India, he would scrutinize even small matter and make most of the decision himself. Still, he counted on Tamal Krishna as his trusted assistant in important dealings. He would send Tamal Krishna from one Indian center to another to help the local devotees with governmental, legal, organizational, or preaching problems. In Bombay, just prior to coming to Jaipur, Tamal Krishna had asked Prabhupada's permission to take sannyas. He renounced order. Srila Prabhupada had awarded sannyas to only a few men, and he had specified their duties as traveling and preaching. Taking sannyas therefore not only meant giving up wife and family, but also renouncing managerial post. At the same time as Prabhupada has set up his governing body commission, he had also initiated several sannyasis, purposefully not appointing any of them, even though they were some of his most able men as GBC secretaries. The Grahastha were to manage the temple as president and GBC secretaries, and the sannyasis were to travel and preach. Srila Prabhupada therefore had to carefully consider whether or not to give Tamal Krishna sannyas and thus lose his GBC secretary for India. On principle, Srila Prabhupada liked the idea of giving Tamal Krishna sannyas. If a young man was actually qualified to give up family life and to use his intelligence and energy in preaching Krishna consciousness, then Prabhupada was always ready to encourage it. The world was in dire need of Krishna consciousness, and even hundreds of sannyasis would still not be enough. On this ground, how could he not appreciate the request of one of his leading disciples to take sannyas? But first, he would test Tamal Krishna's determination. Tamal Krishna was insistent, seeing that Prabhupada would not make a commitment. Tamal Krishna has adopted the tactic of presenting himself before Prabhupada early in the morning without saying a word. In Bombay, he had entered Prabhupada's room, led the Mangala before the deities, and then sat silently before Srila Prabhupada. Knowing the mind of his disciple, Prabhupada could understand that Tamal Krishna was not only determined, but obstinate. After several days of tolerating Tamal Krishna's silence, insistence presence every morning, Prabhupada had fully agreed to consider seriously his request. So Prabhupada was also concerned with Madhuri Devidasi, Tamal Krishna's wife. She was an attractive, intelligent girl who had given her life to Krishna consciousness. And Tamal Krishna, by his own choice, had married her only a year ago. Spiritually, Madhuri was Srila Prabhupada's daughter, and Prabhupada wanted to protect her from undue disturbance. Even as householders, Tamal Krishna and his wife had been renounced, traveling with Prabhupada throughout India with little time or facility for private life as husband and wife. Tamal Krishna had been in Bombay when Shyamsundar had informed him that Prabhupada had mentioned in a letter to Brahmananda Swami in Africa that Tamal Krishna might take sannyas. Spurred on, he had left his wife in Bombay and joined Prabhupada in Jaipur. On leaving, however, Tamal Krishna had asked Madhuri for his personal copies of the first 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam, signed by Srila Prabhupada. Madhuri had become suspicious. She had asked why he wanted them. I just want to read them, Tamal Krishna had answered. But she had suspected the worst. No, you are not coming back. But assuring her that he would definitely be returning, he had left for Jaipur. Once with Srila Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna again resumed his silence insistence. Whenever there would be an open meeting in Prabhupada's room, the GBC leaders would usually sit in a privileged position near Srila Prabhupada so as to best receive direct instructions. Tamal Krishna, however, would simply sit outside the door. The first time he did this, and Prabhupada looked up and said, Tamal Krishna, you are sitting outside? That is very nice. And the other devotees took it that Prabhupada was praising his disciple humility. On one occasion, Prabhupada addressed Tamal Krishna as Tamal Krishna Maharaj. The devotees were startled. The woman devotees in Jaipur, being close friend with Madhuri, became angry at what they took to be Tamal Krishna's duplicity. Although Prabhupada had not given permission, Tamal Krishna went ahead with his plans, even to the point of preparing his sannyas danda and dyeing his clothes. The women were outraged. Madri was not even there to represent herself. Altogether, the woman went to Srila Prabhupada, who patiently and sympathetically heard their presentation. Then Prabhupada called for Tamal Krishna and said, quote, "Your wife is my daughter, my disciple, and I have to think for her also. So I do not know how I can do this because she will be in great difficulty." Tamal Krishna argued, but Prabhupada pacified him and asked him to be patient. The sannyas issue had become a topic of controversy among the devotees in Jaipur. The men were rooting for sannyas and the women were opposed. Prabhupada, however, remained grave. So I think we should be punctual, we should stop. And before the devotees leave, we would like to offer our humble obeisances at their feet for their continued concentrated effort to join in the morning and chant Hare Krishna with us by attending their prayer. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhaya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo